If two Ferrari drivers just exposed a hidden problem that could destroy their entire season, would you notice it before the team admits it? Because after Japanese Grand Prix qualifying, something happened that Ferrari did not expect and definitely did not want to go public. Lewis Hamilton said just 9 words. 9. And those 9 words revealed a weakness so serious that even Ferrari's engineers couldn't fully explain it. At the exact same time, Charles Leclerc was doing the opposite, extracting performance, pushing the car to its absolute limit. So now you have a contradiction. Same car, same track, completely different reality. And that's where things get dangerous. Because this is not about speed. It's not about setup. It's about something far more critical in Formula One: trust. And what Ferrari discovered in Suzuka could explain why they are already losing the fight against Mercedes by more than half a second per lap. But here's the part almost nobody is talking about. The real problem isn't what Hamilton said. It's why Leclerc didn't say it. And once you see that connection, you can't unsee it. Subscribe now, because the final piece of this story changes everything. What you're about to hear didn't happen in Q3. It didn't happen in the final laps. It didn't even happen when the grid was decided. It started much earlier, and almost nobody noticed it. Saturday morning, final practice. On paper, Ferrari looked strong. Leclerc in 3rd, Hamilton in 5th. Close enough to suggest something was working. Close enough to make people believe Ferrari had solved Friday's problems. But inside the garage, the mood was very different. Because while the lap times looked competitive, the long runs told a completely different story. And this is where the first Real warning appeared. The SF26 was eating its tires. Not dramatically, not in a way you see instantly on the timing screens, but enough. Enough to force the drivers out of the optimal window, especially in the fastest part of Suzuka. That section where everything flows, where commitment is everything, where you either trust the car or you lift. And Ferrari drivers were starting to feel that edge. But here's where things get even more interesting, because Suzuka itself had changed. The second half of the track had new asphalt, smoother, cleaner, less grip, which sounds like a small detail. But in Formula One, that changes everything. Because when the surface is too smooth, tires struggle to generate temperature. And when tires are not in the right window, the car stops talking to the driver. It becomes unpredictable, cold in one corner, overheating in the next. And suddenly, confidence starts to disappear. Now remember that, because this detail connects directly to what Hamilton said later. But at this point, Ferrari still believed they could manage it. They adjusted setups. They tweaked balance. They prepared for qualifying. And then Q1 started. And for a moment, everything looked perfect. Leclerc goes fastest. Not competitive. Fastest of everyone. Faster than Mercedes. Faster than McLaren. And just like that, hope came back. But here's the trap. That lap didn't represent reality. It represented potential. A very small window, where everything aligned. Tires in the perfect range. Energy deployment just right. Balance exactly where it needed to be. But Formula One is not about one perfect lap. It's about repeating it. And that's where Ferrari started losing control of the situation. Because as the session evolved, that window disappeared. Mercedes found consistency. McLaren found rhythm. And Ferrari started chasing something they had already lost. But this is where the story splits in two. On one side, Leclerc, aggressive, instinctive, able to adapt even when the car isn't perfect. On the other side, Hamilton, searching, questioning, trying to understand what the car is doing beneath him. And that difference is the key to everything that happened next. Because while Leclerc could live with the instability, Hamilton couldn't ignore it. And when a driver reaches that point, he starts asking a very specific question. Not how fast the car is, but whether he can trust it. And that question is about to explode in the next phase of qualifying. By the time Q2 begins, Ferrari already knows something is wrong. Not publicly, not on the timing screens, but inside the data, the pattern is clear. They are not improving like the others. And in Formula One, that's where alarm bells start ringing. Because Q1 gives you hope. Q2 tells you the truth. The first runs go out. Mercedes steps up. McLaren steps up. And suddenly, Ferrari is no longer setting the pace. They are reacting, trying to keep up, trying to find time that isn't coming naturally. And this is where pressure starts to build. Because now every lap matters. Every adjustment matters. Every decision carries weight. Leclerc goes out again, pushes harder, finds time. For a brief moment, he goes to the top. Again, and it looks impressive. It looks like Ferrari is still in the fight. But look closer, because that lap required everything. Perfect tire preparation, perfect balance adjustment, maximum commitment. It wasn't comfortable, it was forced. And that distinction is critical, because when performance feels forced, it's not sustainable. Now shift to the other side of the garage. Hamilton goes out, improves, but not enough. Still chasing, still missing something. And over the radio, small details begin to appear. Not dramatic messages, not emotional reactions, just subtle signs. Energy not deploying the same way. The rear not behaving consistently. The car changing corner to corner. And this is where things start to connect. Because what Hamilton is feeling is exactly what the data is showing. The SF26 is inconsistent. Not completely broken. Not undrivable. But unpredictable enough to prevent full confidence. And here's where things get even more serious. Because Ferrari tries to fix it between runs. Quick changes, rear balance adjustments, minor tweaks. The kind of changes you make when you don't have time for real solutions. And sometimes those changes help. But sometimes they make things worse. And now you're not just chasing lap time. You're chasing stability. And that's a losing game in qualifying. But despite all of this, both cars make it through. Leclerc in second, Hamilton in fourth. On paper solid, more than solid, but inside Ferrari, there's no celebration, because they've seen the gap. Not just the gap to Mercedes, but the gap between what the car can do and what the drivers can extract consistently. And that gap is growing. But here's the detail that changes everything. Hamilton reports something very specific during that phase. The energy deployment feels different, on the same compound, on the same type of lap. Different behavior. That should never happen, because in modern Formula One, energy deployment is controlled, predictable, engineered to perfection. If it changes unexpectedly, that's not a small issue. That's structural. And suddenly, the lack of confidence has a source. Not just feeling, not just adaptation, something deeper, something technical, something Ferrari cannot fully control yet. And now the situation becomes critical, because heading into Q3, you need one thing above everything else. Clarity. You need to know exactly what the car will do, exactly how it will behave, exactly where the limit is. But Ferrari doesn't have that clarity. Leclerc is driving on instinct. Hamilton is searching for answers. And both of those paths are about to collide in the most important laps of the entire session. Because Q3 doesn't forgive uncertainty. And what happens next is where Ferrari's real ceiling gets exposed. Q3 begins, and this is where illusions disappear. No traffic, no excuses, no hiding. Just one lap where everything has to come together. And Ferrari knows it, because this is the moment where potential either becomes reality or gets exposed. Leclerc goes out first, push lap, and the beginning is perfect. The first sector lights up, fastest of anyone, purple, faster than Mercedes, faster than everyone. And for a second, you can feel it. That possibility, that question, is this the lap? Is this where Ferrari shocks everyone? But then, Sector 2, the car starts to drift away from him. Not dramatically, just enough. A small loss here, another there. And by the time he reaches the final sector, the lap is already slipping. Not gone, but no longer special. And this is where the real problem shows itself. The high-speed section, the part of the track where confidence matters most. The part where Ferrari keeps losing time. Every lap, Leclerc crosses the line. Fourth, not bad, but not enough. And more importantly, not surprising anymore. Now everything shifts to Hamilton, because his lap starts even stronger. Sector 1, purple again, faster than everyone at that point. And this is where it becomes almost confusing, because the speed is there. The potential is real. The car can do it. But then, exactly the same thing happens. Sector 2 fades. Sector 3 collapses. And by the time he crosses the line, sixth, and suddenly, the pattern is undeniable. This is not driver error. This is not setup. This is a limitation, a ceiling, and Ferrari just hit it. Both cars, same behavior, same loss of performance, same story. And this is where the panic starts to become real. Because now there is no data left to interpret, no scenario left to analyze. Everything is clear. Ferrari is strong at the beginning of the lap, and weak where it matters most. High speed, energy deployment, end of a lap. And here's the detail that turns concern into urgency. They try one more time. Final runs. Last chance. Leclerc pushes harder. More aggressive line. More risk through the fastest corners. Trying to carry more speed. Trying to beat the limitation. But you can't outdrive a structural problem. He crosses the line again. Same result. No improvement. Hamilton tries as well. Cleaner lap. Better preparation. More understanding than before. But the outcome doesn't change. And that's when it hits Ferrari. This is everything the car has. There is nothing left. No hidden pace. No extra margin. No final step. And when a team realizes that, during qualifying, that's when pressure turns into panic. Because now they know something very uncomfortable. Even a perfect lap is not enough. And here's where everything connects back to that one sentence. I don't have confidence in the car. Because Q3 just proved something critical. It's not just Hamilton. It's the car. Leclerc mastered it, managed it, extracted the maximum anyway. But even he cannot break through that ceiling. And now Ferrari faces the reality they were trying to avoid. They are not fighting for pole. They are not even close. They are fighting within a limit they don't fully understand yet. And worse than that, a limit they cannot fix quickly. Because what's causing this is not one issue. It's a combination. Energy deployment inconsistency, high speed instability, tire sensitivity, all stacking together, all appearing at the exact moment that matters most. And that's what makes it dangerous. Because this doesn't just affect one session. It affects every qualifying, every race, every strategy. And now, Ferrari has to go into Sunday knowing something very simple. They are starting behind, not just on the grid, but in performance. And the most worrying part is that both drivers now know exactly where the weakness is, which means every rival does too. And once that happens in Formula One, there's nowhere left to hide.